Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Groseville Township Community Recreation Commission meeting for Thursday, May 2nd. We will call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. If everyone would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. With that, I need a motion to approve the agenda as submitted. Any additions, deletions?
I'll make a motion.
Stacy made the motion. Make sure you use your microphone.
Who was the second?
I'll second.
He's second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Secretary, she approved submitted the minutes from the April 4th meeting. Hope everybody got a chance to read that. With that, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The presentations, we're going to wait until after this meeting ends for presentations, unless somebody's got something out there. We good? All right. Public comment? We're good? We're going to get through this meeting then. Action items, we have none. No discussion items. Brings it to my report. I want to update anybody. Mike, you want to zoom in on this awesome poster up here for Island Fest? It's May 31, June 1, 2. We've got some great band lined up. We have the parade Saturday the 1st at 10 a.m. on Macomb Street. We're still taking exhibitors, sponsorships, and parade applications. Anybody want to bring anything to the table about Island Fest? No? You're all got your duties?
Looking forward to it. 30 days.
We'll be there.
I'm going to wait till Uta gets here, but we want to send prayers out to Ethel. She's been on this commission 20 plus years, and I'm just going to leave it at that. The pond at the farm, it's come to my attention that for some reason people thought that pond wasn't up and running. It's beautiful over there. We put the water feature in 3 days ago. It's a beautiful photo op. You go over there for weddings and grad pictures and all that, and you don't have to just go to Chad's house. So thank you for that. With that, Zaid, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, so I want to talk about some of the updates we've been making. So obviously I touched base on them just with the restaurant in our last meeting, but I did want to talk about the farm, different updates. So we do have that water feature put in. We've been working on the chicken coop and kind of updating that, helping out the Herb Society with that as well. Our dog park is completely updated too. We moved our spigot, we put down gravel, so the dog park has been completely updated and kind of renovated, so no more muddy spots or anything like that. And we are currently, our last big project, I would say, of this year is we're working on our pool, just getting some things done as far as tile renovation and different things. We have a bid put out for that, so hopefully we'll hear back from that within the next couple of weeks and get that done. But things are looking good, and we have a lot of summer programs and some of our spring programs that are running and getting good numbers. So, you know, if you guys are interested, if there's any parents that want to put their kids in programs, summer camps, we have our Island Day Camp, summer camp that we have going. It's going to be running 8 weeks in the summer, so feel free to just go to our website and register. So thank you.
Zaid, Ash, you got anything you want to add?
Hello. Oh, wonderful. Hello. I know it's been a hot minute since I've been here. I know you all missed me. But I just real quick wanted to go over all of our positions for the summer. Our summer camps, everything at the pool, which includes our swim instructors, lifeguards, and head guards. We have hired for all of our positions, but doesn't mean you still can't apply, and we still can't do an interview. So positions such as summer camps or our head guards, those positions have been filled, but with lifeguards and swim instructors, especially swim instructors, I mean, we can always take more. So if anyone is still interested, they can still turn an application and we can get an interview going. But otherwise, we are looking forward to getting everything started this year.
Good. Good. Shout out to Tipsy Fish, too, huh? That's coming up really soon. Okay, with that, Uta is going to be here, so we'll get back to her. Keith, you have something you want to put out there?
The only thing I want to talk about is Memorial Day is coming up, so Kiwanis is going to be doing their flag repair day on the 18th of this month, 10 o'clock at the VFW. We'll be providing lunch. Come and help us replace and repair flags.
Did you have island cleanup too?
Did have island cleanup, and thanks for those who came out and helped. We made a pretty good dent in it. And Priority Way sort of forgot their dumpster behind the building, but they'll come and get that soon.
All right. Thank you for all that you guys do too. Mr. Kevin Naso.
I have nothing this month, Chad.
All
Thank you.
right. Miss Marissa.
Just piggybacking off of what Chad said, just reminding everybody to get your parade and exhibitor applications in. We're going to be doing that, those lineups and getting the exhibitor map created in the next couple of weeks. So if you get those out there, you'll get a really good spot.
We met with the police, fire, and DPW today, and they are all stoked about helping you get that parade lined up and whipping those people into shape. Just be nice to the clowns. All right? I've heard. I'm just kidding.
I'm not mean to clowns.
Just kidding. Marissa just flew in from Costa Rica and made it to this meeting tonight, so yay, Marissa. That's some dedication, I'm telling you. Miss Stacy Damon?
Nothing to add.
All right. Wendy, I know you're never quiet. I mean, yay, what do you have to
I
report
did shorten
tonight?
it since we have folks waiting for
I
us.
know.
So, Emma unfortunately couldn't make it tonight, so I have a tiny report from her. For the middle school, all state testing wrapped up this week at the middle school. They had the book fair this week, and then the 8th graders are in the middle of campaigning for student council for next year. Our own Emma is running for class president, so be sure to vote for Emma, 8th graders, because we wanted to get in. As far as mine, I just want to recognize and wish each of our amazing principals a very happy National Principals Day, which was yesterday. Lindsay Parsons, Nicole Garza, Justin Tromka, and Dr. Carter, thank you for leading each of our amazing schools. We truly, truly appreciate all that they do for our kids and our families. A big thank you to all of our kitchen staff. Tomorrow's National Lunch Hero Day. So thank you for all that they do for our kids, and we truly appreciate all their hard work and dedication. Next Tuesday is actually National Teacher Appreciation Day we're actually going to be celebrating all week long, though. So thanks to each and every one of our teachers here on Grozio. We appreciate everything that they do for our kids, our parents, and each other. I just want to take a minute and send a big thank you to Kiwanis, the DDA, and Rotary for once again supporting our senior banner project on Macomb. All three graciously funded this project again this year, which gives our seniors a banner that is hung down Macomb to celebrate their accomplishments. The seniors each get to keep those banners when they come down. I'm just patiently waiting for that call that they're ready to go up. So patiently waiting. And then Builders Club is kicking off a Cornhole for Heart fundraiser next week. The kids will be raising money for the American Heart Association by participating in a cornhole tournament on Friday, May 24th. Our goal is to raise $5,000. So we're excited for that. And then also Builders Club, we've partnered with Gleaners, and we will be participating in a cereal drive this whole month after the 7th, starting the 7th, and to hope to feed kids throughout the summer months because they're not going to be in school. So a lot of schools provide breakfast for the kids, so we want to make sure everybody has what they need. So that's it for me.
And give a shout out to Island House. Did you mention
Oh, Island House. So Builders Club, I oversee Builders Club this year at the middle school, and I have a small group of girls, and once a month, the first Wednesday of every month, we go to Island House on Macomb, and we always have something planned. So we were there yesterday, and so we painted birdhouses with the residents, and we always bring treats and different things like that. So they look forward to the girls coming. So.
Senior citizens love what this department does for
Oh, yes.
them on
And
the
they keep
island.
asking when bingo is, just so you know. Every time I go in, they're like, when's bingo? I'm like, call Zaid.
All right. Thanks, Wendy. Megan?
I have nothing to add.
All right. With that, there is not going to be any meeting in July because it falls on the 4th of July. I think we're going to take, obviously, that month off. We will meet back up here, though, on Thursday, June 6th for a wrap-up meeting. This is probably the shortest meeting I've ever run next to Stacy because she's like notorious for being quick. With that, I would need a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:10.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, so moved. And we will go into our study session now with the township to discuss their 5-year master plan. All right, we're gonna head to roundtables.
Hold on, we're still on air.
We're gonna stay on air. I'm pretty sure this is broadcast.
Oh, yeah, you're
it
right,
is.
you're right.
It's just me coughing.
Operate as if it does. Everybody a minute to get resettled, and then we can go on ahead and get started. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for making your way out here tonight. We really appreciate it and are excited to get to chat with you. We'll be
Is that
going
microphone
over-
on? The one you're using? Is that on?
I think so.
Mike?
Tester. Hello. Right here? Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, then. Thank you very much. Can everybody hear me right now? All right, then. Perfect. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for making your way out here tonight. We're going to run through a really brief presentation so that way we can jump into a few exercises, all aimed at us being able to have a really future-forward discussion about the future of Water's Edge and what this means as an asset and as a space for recreation and adventure and play for people in Grosse Ile. So to start us off, hi, my name is Catherine. I'm an urban designer at Smith Group. I'm joined by my colleagues, Kathleen over there, and Allison. We've been working with Ross at the Township for a few months here now on the Community Master Plan, which is a plan and a guiding document that is designed to help us determine the future of investment, development, and growth within the township. So when we think about the parks where people play, the homes where they live, the roads that they take to connect all of them, all of these are things that a master plan touches, and it helps to guide where those investments are made so that way we can be sure that we're prioritizing things correctly. So, as I've mentioned, we've been at this for a few months now. It's a year-long process. We've just completed phase 1 last year. That was focused mostly on being able to do a lot of virtual and in-person outreach with the community to be able to build consensus around a shared vision for the future. And we're now moving into phase 2 right here with you all, where we're running through different scenarios of what do those look like in practice and in real life. In order to do that, we were able to do an online survey. We were able to come here and do joint sessions as well with the DDA to chat with the Township Board, with the Planning Commission. We were able to do mobile workshops and talk on the ground with people in these spaces to walk along Water's Edge, see the marina ourselves. We were able to reach around over 1,000 people. That's around 10% or so. Of people on the island, people ranging from students. We actually just came back from a session at the high school where we were able to chat with some people there, all about what their hopes and wants were for the future of the island, all the way over to our legacy members. And so through all of that discussion, we had come up with this kind of shared vision statement for the future. And as you can tell, recreation plays a huge component in it across the board when it came to our questions about what people's hopes were, what the challenges were that they face, what they see as the biggest opportunities. Recreation and the connection to nature in general was often mentioned, along with the idea of community and collaborative spirit, the idea of stewardship, of partnership. I think we saw that a lot with our members here tonight. And along with all of that engagement, we're also looking at prior plans, best practices, data, and trends to be able to inform these designs to ensure that they can be implemented, that they can be maintained long term. And so with that, we're building off of our prior work as well, starting with the prior master plan. And when we look at that, we know that a lot has changed in the 20 years since that plan was developed, right? We are in a post-pandemic world where people are going out of their homes more for recreation, where a lot more people are also working from home. We see that those households are changing. The average age in Grosse Ile has increased by 10 years since the prior master plan. We're seeing a renewed interest in resilience, especially when it comes to funding and the opportunities when it comes to grants to support different initiatives that support that as well, which is great. And we're also seeing that there is a shortage of housing and construction, and so what does that look like in different areas around the island? So with that, we want to also consider what are the trade-offs that we are going to be taking, because we know that everybody really wants certain key things to be able to have a quality place to live, which Kathleen will go into a bit more.
Yeah, so we heard earlier all of the awesome things that the Parks and Rec Commission and the community as a whole is doing, and it's just an awesome testament to what is a priority clearly here of recreation. And I think, why we're we're here today is we've, like Catherine said, been talking with a variety of different groups around the island, and because recreation is such an important piece, we wanted to make sure that we spoke with you all about that. And I think we kind of made this diagram to illustrate the trade-offs that go along with development in a community. So thinking about some of the things that generally folks have said that they like about the township, but we also know that these things are, you have to kind of do a you pick two menu. So it's hard to have both low density, whether it's residential or commercial, plus low costs and beautiful places to live, right? So you can have two of these things, and you have to balance those trade-offs. So if you want nice low density neighborhoods and nice things, then where are we paying for that? Where's the cost is out of balance. But if you want low cost and nice things, then we need to find some opportunities for a little bit more development somewhere to help pay for things. And then finally, if you want low density and low cost, then it's harder to pay for things. So I think one of the big things we want to dig into a bit, we know you've updated the Parks and Rec plan recently, and that's updated on a 5-year schedule. Thinking about the township as a whole, we haven't updated the master plan as a whole in 20 years. So taking some of the things we've learned from both operations and maintenance associated with programming all these wonderful open spaces, and thinking about what are some longer term opportunities and maybe revenue generators to help pay for what everyone clearly values so highly. And so we analyzed the property. You're good. You've been here before. You know what we're talking about. So we've analyzed a lot of the different property across the township as a whole. And so we ruled out some areas that aren't developable, whether through, different deeds and things like that. But there are a few key redevelopment opportunities. There's not a lot of vacancy at the end of the day on the island. And that's, on purpose. If you're a built out community, don't need to grow too much. But I think the goal of all of this is to say, if we want to invest more in township services or in the park space and have more money available for programming, and we need to find some pockets of space where there can be some development. And there's not a lot. Macomb Street is a logical place, but so is Commerce Park. And we were here this afternoon saying, how can we get more development to happen there, and what are key recreational uses we want to see there, but also what are some business type uses. But we also identified Water's Edge as potentially being underutilized. So, thinking about how Macomb Street has some vacancies, but also has some very thriving local businesses, rethinking that for the future. But they've done their own vision plan, the DDA did recently, and so have been implementing stuff. I want my own banner, please, on your Macomb Street. Sounds great. And then knowing that Meridian Elementary is consolidating into Park Lane, what does that mean? So we're seeing the trend nationwide of a lot of institutional uses changing, right, as family sizes shrink and we have fewer people, students in the school district, consolidating buildings, churches closing over time as fewer people go to church. So thinking about these big land assets that the community has, talking with the school district about what their plans might be at Meridian. So the point of a master plan like this is to think big picture and long term. So it's a 20-year vision. So the township has also not updated it in 20 years. So a lot has changed since then. So how do we anticipate what the potential of all of these places could be? So definitely seeing Water's Edge as a key asset to the community. It's one of the only places you can publicly access the river. And we can't wait to dig in with you more about possibilities there with all of the recreational uses that are there, but what might be missing and how do we prioritize those? And then thinking about the generator of the airport as a use as well, to the way that people access the island via the airport. Are there other complementary uses at Commerce Park that can cater to airport users? A lot of great ideas for how to better use some of the recreational facilities that came out this afternoon. And so we're curious to kind of pick your brains a little bit on that too, with questions of where there is there a possibility for more tournaments and stuff on those fields? And could we think about kind of public space, public building that could provide refreshments and concessions and bathrooms and things like that? Would we be able to host more events potentially? So just, again, brainstorming big picture, long range. Nothing's really off the table except in Commerce Park. Some things are off the table because it's got some federal restrictions, deed restrictions on it. And so as we think about like the history of this as a country club and the amenities that are already there, the asset of the marina, what are some major, kind of like options for, visibility from the bridge, from across the river? It's the location and amenities here are really excellent, but also what else could we dream big in the long range too? Are there other ways to have revenue generators at Water's Edge, and what does that look like? Some of what we've heard thus far is through that survey that Catherine described is that people really do enjoy Water's Edge as a recreational center for the community. So asking for some other things like a kayak launch, keep and expand, right? So the kayak launch is there. People are valuing that. Some people don't know that it's there. I feel like every time we talk to a different person, they're like, I didn't know there was a kayak launch there. So promoting some of those uses. So people generally like the mix of things that are there, but could it have even more? Are there other ways to create sort of programmatic space for concerts or festivals or venues, things like that maybe, or more of a playscape? When we met with the high schoolers this afternoon, they were describing their younger siblings and what they used to do as kids and wanting more playground equipment and stuff. But also like thinking about like, are there other uses that aren't there now, and what are some of the opportunities to enhance things down the line in the future? So I'm just gonna skip through some of this Commerce Park stuff. All right, so that leads us to our first exercise. Catherine, do we want to jump directly into the dot exercise first? We're going to split well, there's a lot of, what do you think? Do we have them all go over there at once? There's a lot of people, so I'm just wondering, team.
Split, take half the group.
Let's do that. Let's split in half. So if you're on that half of the room, go hang out with us on the opportunities and challenges board. And if you're on this half of the room, come and put some dots on the board for what you want to see, what's missing, what makes sense at Water's Edge versus Commerce Park, and we'll talk some of the opportunities more tangibly there.
What are we doing on this side?
Coming back to these boards.
Those boards are nicer over there, though.
I'm on that side. I've been volunteering.
One is for Water's Edge and one is for Commerce Park.
It'll be up there. I think
They'll tell you.
explain.
I'm sure you've had this conversation hundreds of times, but I mean, I'm really.
Absolutely. Let's see here. Does everybody here have stickers? Anybody missing stickers? Yep. Alrighty then. So, right over here, we have
Some of the things that were brought up during our Commerce Park meeting earlier was, could we have a revenue generator and a kayak rental, for instance, or get a charter operator to work out of the public, marina side, harbor side of things, boat rentals, concerts. So, like,
And just so you know, there's no public water access.
what is the?
It's for the marina. It's just but it's regular.
So with that,
Okay.
In order for us to transit
And the rev, I've lived here 50 years. And my partner and I spend $25,000 a year on property taxes on our property. So I know a lot about what you're touching, and I'm all ears, but I need
People want, so there's no, like, people can't, they can launch a kayak there.
They can, but they use Sunrise Park instead.
Sunrise Park.
You know where that's at?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where these are.
Really inaccessible.
That ADA launch at Water's Edge, no one uses that.
No one.
They don't use it, but they don't
because the current over there is crazy strong in the river.
I wouldn't want to kayak on that side of the river.
It's not the best spot.
Not at all.
No.
But the conference like Chad was, we have.
Yeah, and they really like it. So is there any facility?
I guess we'll talk about revenue generating down the road with this group, right?
Yeah.
Because this funding is just
Yeah, you are very limited.
very limited.
Very limited. So yes, that's what we're talking about. So if they're currently what we're doing is we are, first of all, it's not smoothing down the water any longer than it's there. Yeah, it's a new.
Yeah.
And so we're collaborating with them to choose the right golf course and start new programs in golf course, like a 9 and dine. And those type of things are going to be happening. Those are already in works and are in the proposal that they submitted back when they bid on the property. So that's already going to be happening. Again, all this takes time to implement. We're still using the restaurant, and then we're still also having to collaborate with them on an outside space. Probably buy it and actually probably, and then for their outdoor space, for the outdoor space, for the restaurant. No. I don't want to skew the power.
You're a resident. No, you're a resident.
That would be down the road, but then first it's going to be for the golf course. Can we talk a little bit about how much the golf course is?
Oh,
We heard from the high schoolers, they like playing there.
Yeah, they come from off island to use that.
And then seniors.
Seniors and high schoolers, yeah.
It's both been mentioned because of
They're about 2 weeks.
Yeah, because of the price point, yeah.
middle school boys too.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
only
right.
public course on the island, the others are all private.
If you actually look around too, it's generally
Like, does it cater to some, do you get enough golfers that it does?
they made a profit on it.
Yeah.
And we raised the prices this year.
As far as I know, it's one of our biggest revenue.
It is.
That and the marina.
And so all of the marina sponsor lease
Yes.
to individuals.
And there's only like 40 foot of transient dockage available. We wish we had more, but there's just no funding to it.
Right, yeah, but big picture. If we had a magical pot of money, there's room theoretically to have more transient.
I call this the fantasy commission.
That's fine. We
Plans
got
there,
it.
yeah.
No, I mean, there is. We own the coastline up to
If we get rid of that ADA kayak launch, we can put transient all the way down there.
So the limitation of the transient is you have to have a certain.
well, it's building out into the river too. So you have a lot of
Working with the Army Corps.
So if we had more docking, we could have charter boats?
you could have yes.
Because people who don't own a boat on the island, that would be fun to rent for the
Right, that's what.
for your family.
Yeah, that's what.
I guess, and we've tried to do boat events where you go from one club to the next, but
That
and I
would be
was
so
told from
fun.
township that the liability is so ridiculous for us to organize an event like that.
They could organize.
What are those things called, they do like in Florida and Newport, California?
Like a bar.
Like a
bar.
pub
You know, it's at a bar house, where they
Like a country
they
club.
decorate the boats, Venetian night.
That would be
You know,
fun.
But the liability is ridiculous to get people out there. So, that's a challenge.
One of the things we've talked about with the, is to enhance the things that are available at the marina for the owners, like maybe just making it accessible for them to, maybe one of these days order food from the restaurant, or have somewhere there where they can purchase ice and bait and things like that. That's been brought up several times, and it's something that we might be having in the works.
We would love a new pool house.
Yes.
Pool house, our pool house is not ADA compliant,
That
it's
would
not,
be
it's so outdated. I mean,
Amazing.
It's trying to work. Take the point down for it.
But feel free to let me know.
Okay.
Probably work something out.
Okay, no, yeah, then, yeah, we'll talk. So these go,
Is that like restrooms changing? Well, it's in very rough shapes. It's actually very embarrassing for our community that that's our community facility.
You're all set to put in.
Yeah, you can just put them up whenever. I just have to put it on the, because we didn't have a DA meeting last month.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious, so nature and land.
Supposed to go at the golf course.
No, it's supposed to be on
Oh, on
Macomb
Macomb
Street.
Street.
So the publicly held land versus, is any of the nature and land conservancy land publicly held?
Township owns the property, they're
They're stewards of the property.
and for some reason, he can give you more detail.
Yeah, he did, that's why I was like, yeah, that was like, yes, I
But we were
agree.
so excited to work on it for a couple of years, we're gonna switch, everybody's gonna be happy, and then.
I think given the limited time, let's follow that.
But
we've been working on that.
nobody's saying like how there is an opportunity to get some more youth-focused something on Macomb Street.
Yes.
Is there opportunity to have additional uses? We talked about the restaurant, new event potential, tie into the marina. The pool is there, getting a new pool house. Has there been discussion of a playground there or other
Yes.
additional uses?
We want to do
for
something, potentially remove the ice rink.
I was gonna ask me your next question. What's the
Yeah,
deal?
and then either multi-use.
Are there things that people have been asking for pickleball or asking for?
So like a multi-use.
It's crazy for pickleball.
And then
Oh
potentially.
my gosh, pickleball and then chili dog.
Kind
Oh,
of.
batting cages.
Batting cages.
We haven't heard that one yet.
Top
That's
lot
good.
or
That would be
something.
me.
You got someplace to put scooters on there from like Water's Edge to the business district to, you know.
That's,
like-
we heard golf carts
Not
earlier,
golf
but that's
carts, but the
legal.
motorized scooters.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have golf carts,
That
these
would be-
people are.
That'd be, talk about ordinance enforcement, like, people are gonna leave those everywhere on people's lawns.
It's a fantasy plan. It's a
Right.
fantasy plan. They're
If
asking
you
about
get,
ideas.
if you get an operator, right, so that's the thing, so like, like, are there ways to monetize it into this, right, if that's what we're trying to like, which clearly is always top of mind.
Right, batting cages potentially that you could
That you
charge
could
a fee
charge,
for.
right?
For a playground, probably not. We heard splash pad earlier, he's probably not
That was a
charging for that.
debacle. We tried that a
It's
few
like-
years
that was
ago.
splash pad. And
No.
so, are there other, they heard, the high school earlier today, the kids talking about how as soon as we can drive, we're off the island. Because there's nothing for older kids, there's also not a lot of things for our younger siblings. And so, are there things for sort of other all-age activities for someone who might not golf and might not have a
Well, we do
arena
programs all,
place to
I
do
mean,
that?
for like.
So
baseball.
is there programming at Water's Edge as well?
Yeah, there's programming.
There's a volleyball class running right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's after-school classes through the schools that we're doing.
School has programming there.
Well, no, it's us.
Yeah.
Us with the school.
With the school.
Yeah.
One of the things, do you do the programming?
I do.
They mentioned fitness, wanting to do fit, they don't like going to the gym with the people that are there,
We
like
have that
having
with the
like
high school kids,
high
right?
school
So high
targeted
school.
fitness programs, they were really.
That'd be
So
something
I don't know if you're already
schools, though,
doing
wouldn't
that, but.
Not a whole lot with the high
But
school.
they like,
but-
it sounds like it's a social thing, like they go hang out at Planet Fitness. So like, is there like a creative high school targeted fitness
So
something?
we try not to do too much of that because we're not trying to step on the toes of the public schools. They have a lot of their own sports and that kind of stuff.
Brazil, they handle their soccer, their baseball, their football, it's all in the schools. The rec doesn't do that, and that's what a lot of
Pretty
people
much
don't
stop
get.
around.
So the main thing I think they wanted, frozen yogurt.
So can we make that happen? at
Is there,
concession
like,
stand?
with the new restaurant, is there a discussion at Water's Edge, could they have like, is it a restaurant and a small concessions? Do they have a, is there ice cream
There's
concessions?
a ice cream machine. Yes, there's ice cream offers the bakery, they spend a fortune at Starbucks, and then they go to Uma and get their sushi. The Brazil youth are pretty.
So they want ice cream.
I think they want like the little, you know,
Soft
like
serve.
froyo custard, froyo.
That's why they all do custard cup, because they all go to custard cup hang out.
Yeah,
corner
yes,
is right
that-
across the street.
yes, right,
Yeah,
so it's
it's
that, I think it's just, again, they're like, they want more places to work, they want an island
Because
It was
they
different
really
than
use my
there
name
was
for their
always
mom
something.
pictures from Dad's house.
The Chad's house. They said they all have to go to Elizabeth Park. But they did. They literally were like, we need a place where we can like see the river from prom pictures on Island.
Well, then they need to think a little more, because there's plenty of places to go for photo ops.
They just wanted to
I would just want to dismiss it.
They got a pretty open mind.
right, so it gets to the like public access, right?
Yeah.
Like where would you know, right? And so like, I mean, I don't know how you imagine to make a sunrise park where you'll like lift to get people out. Like it's just
Those kids swim down there also now. They're probably another 20, 30 kids down there. It is
right, it's
big.
dangerous, right? So like,
So.
you don't promote that necessarily. How do you promote it?
I don't know if you promote anything.
Right.
That doesn't sound.
Like there's no, it's just kind of like, you know it, it's there.
Jump off the free bridge, jump over the canal bridges.
Because like, I didn't know it was there. They're like, our next stop, we're on our tour list. Like, our next stop is in So
There are business opportunities, these things that you're mentioning.
I want to stay with these, we need to provide someplace that they can go to.
Right, not basically say
No, I agree
why
on that. I'd
they should
love
be
to
okay
have,
with what they have already, right?
Right,
So
it's opportunities, yes, to help also like generate revenue for more recreation programs.
So let's say that an operator came in that had a pontoon boat that could take the kids for prom pictures over to Sugar Island or something. That would be amazing.
They also want the amusement park.
Yes.
That's sorry. But yeah.
But things like that, I mean, you could get really creative and you should hire you just invite operators.
Right, so
Charter.
how do we like make that connection?
So I'll say this, I know the owner, and she was actually purchasing something, I don't know, it's functional, looking at it, but there's some that it's entirely not business.
Right.
But an operator to come and rent the space here for that.
She may want to be because
We had a tasty freeze on the phone, but they closed in 2 years.
right, that's what they said it was going to be that.
That you could do anywhere.
Oh, it's.
Maybe do one of those vending machines that you have.
Could we put it at Water's Edge?
Yeah, and what is
Right?
How it's conceived,
That's what we're supposed to have for
complain about why something.
I think they're gonna do it.
Yeah, we've done it already, now we still need to start something. I mean, I grew up here, we wanted off the island as soon as nails. I think that's
Right.
Well, because you have freedom. But as an adult.
Right, so like, so that's the thing is, so like, can anything, so even cleaning that up, it still has a
Doesn't ultimately come down to who's gonna get it. Everybody wants
Isn't there an
it.
access on the north end of the island off Meridian that has waterfront?
There's a trail, a nature trail.
Yeah.
It's also too like.
Yeah.
the point.
Yeah. I'm gonna maybe
We might zone things here, might switch that, but a lot of times. What the market will dictate based upon. Well, restaurants are only gonna invest in growing and develop if, you know, they feel that there's a market here that can support it. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's water.
Private investment, housing and.
And I don't think people realize that.
Are we on? Yes. Everyone, we're getting ready to switch activities. If you were, it was on for a second. There you go. If you're with Kathleen, please switch over to the activity with Catherine and vice versa. Thank you.
200 jobs and it is
Whose phone?
You don't do it formally like you do at the meetings?
The meeting is formally ended.
That's what I just said. Okay.
Oh, no, you're okay. We're still migrating.
Okay, what about the kayak thing? I just got called.
That's always, they play, they have indoor baseball all winter, you know. She'll have the checkbook with her when she gets it. Everywhere, they got wide open areas. So who's the
And then to Sean,
Can everybody hear me okay? So, in our conversations with the community for the rest, those were all the regions. Chat with them about a bunch of different potential uses in the future. What we realized is that they weren't very specific or had very much the terms of where to whether they would continue to see their units remain, or whether they would like locally new
I have some of each.
soccer. However, people were not necessarily all too specific about whether or not they wanted for it to stay there, if they wanted to have some sort of a grand recreational program. Some people who really, really loved being able to have the dining golf course, but they weren't necessarily sure that it needed to be right next to the edge. And so, through this exercise, which one is it? To narrow it a little bit more about which ones we will make the most sense at these two specific locations, Commerce Park and at Water's Edge. So to start us off, we would love to just give you some stickers and give you guys a minute to be able to tag them yourselves. And then we'll go on ahead and make a discussion about some of the trends that you're seeing that either surprises you.
so these things are already
If you think it makes sense for it to continue to be there, if it doesn't, then we can go on ahead and pull the sticker off. But it gives us kind of a better leading idea of whether or not really these are want something new as well. Because there were some people that mentioned housing, right? We talked about how there is this, I think it needs to be on the solid recreation on the island. I don't know what they're doing. It's showing not a huge amount of housing, right? In order for there to be the police investors is another market that we're seeing is in need of a certain type of style of home that isn't necessarily they could be at these locations or they could not be. And so we're just going to chat about what the trade-offs are and what the things
And in a perfect world, we have housing.
No, you're all good.
Rosio as a whole, no particular area.
So this one is specifically
There was no discussion around removing it.
It's a reverse position, that's where the bodies come up there.
Yeah, when I
Take it or they want us to buy it. See, there you go. This is our muscle right here. No offense, I mean, you're the brain.
Where's Neil right now?
Probably watching this. Oh my God.
What if we're dreaming? No, we're not. If we're dreaming, faces like this.
No, Marissa and Stacy.
They're already at these places, so I'm gonna just choose.
Do them for me too.
And it's, so, because
Let's face it, aren't necessarily the goals. So the volleyball are nice there. Absolutely. Well, they're serving great words on the it could become something else. I was trying to just figure out what those trade-offs are. Yeah, I want to be
One of the biggest challenges.
Starting in the first week, all of the
straws. And then he generation, and he would talk about water.
We're not taking that away. You came in hot. You came in ready to punch me in the face. No, there is no consideration of that whatsoever.
Because I'm like, open space.
No, she thought that we were working out.
So that is no. I can show them to you.
any open spaces that are.
There should be. The only thing you put those in the house.
That's okay, but the protein grabs is great.
I would love to see a concession. I would love to have right across the street.
They're really good, right? Sometimes I watch how we started.
Nobody wants to talk about it.
So really very nice.
To me, it wasn't ours.
Except for the two people inside.
And it's back on the table. Right, looks like, we're trying to think
Here's the mainland.
There we go, big picture.
They used to have that.
This used to be a blink base. Maybe we could get a blink.
How about just a gondola? I just did a gondola.
They could get us from here to the mainland with a business going.
So we know that the bridge is like the biggest challenge. It's hard to walk.
I think they did it in not really in one place.
It's some.
They had a gondola, I was just from Turkey, in apartments. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if it's an actual launch. I just had a meeting. They're photography. I was talking with her about the fact that we keep getting land
people have been asking for it
A lot of misinformation. Always Facebook, and it's a curated. So anyone can either join or can take it. It's not. It's not modern.
It's hard for municipalities.
Yeah,
Right, just today we're on TV.
Because it's really, and it stays up.
So maybe part of, honestly, that could be a recommendation is having township social know where the people are, they're on social media. And so if that needs to be part of the communication. More actively.
They go to now and they go to now and filter.
They don't go to regions, I mean, our people are presenting all the time. Our rec department, our township offices, they're posting stuff all the time. We have a newspaper that, and again, not everybody goes there as a student. And they expected 40 to middle schools and 8 elementary schools that plan. But on 50 per class, we no longer have to. And we get people who are upset if we try to.
So what is the vision for people? How do we?
You have to bring this name.
So now we've got.
Yes, there has to be a.
When my kids were here.
We are, so, and then try to want to find out, but there's always a different.
Sometimes we get. So let's hear this. Always have. Plus again, you're only tailored to.
I mean, this is a hidden gem, right? So just, I don't know. That's why everyone likes it, because it's beautiful. I said 27 minutes. Still, it's a low one. So there is benefit. I think
Are there really, you want me to be really bad?
we don't want visitors.
No mainland.
No mainland.
Passports.
It's been that way for 40
So what about makes it?
The golf course is all part of
There's several for women. There's and for. I played it today.
You can have places that you don't
If the bank gets wrong, you always turn into a.
But it's true, I always worry about
But do you know that West Shore comes and spends like $5,000 on tickets to use their driving range and decide that you want to put a house in that?
I guess what I'm saying is, they've designed theirs, I can still have it all for
poster or Parks and Rec, the table that shows like how much additional
I don't want to think using it, even though some people may disagree.
standards, which is a really great salad.
Right. Yeah. Physically, one,
It was a husband and a wife, but
it'd be
it's
helpful to something they decried, 20 hours.
That's funny.
Nobody wants.
But we're talking like
They had sidewalks. But people have buried them and now are pretending this is their property. You can't get them to come. When we just did the road cut on Ferry Road at East River, you could see the renderings of the sidewalk.
So that, to me, I'm hearing that. I mean, so we're close to that community, but how does that embrace community when you're like limiting? So like that's what I can't figure out what the strategy is in the future where people like want to be here for the community or walkability, but then at the same time like don't want to share.
I would feel horrible if some child or some biker or something else. But these sidewalks, we have moved off the street just like every other sidewalk. They were 8 to 10 feet off the main road. You can build a curb.
That's the right of way though, right?
It is the right of way.
But East River is actually going like the other
Would anyone, right, so, but like, and then to pay for it, you need a few more people to live here to help you, right?
We need to stop looking to have other people come to pay for what we do. We need to pay our own.
Is that really fair? Like, I don't know how else, like.
Island Fest. Whatever the plan said, most of the people that came to our booth, that live on the island. Island Fest pulls people from off the island.
I mean, if we just want temporary.
Yeah, come here, spend your money and leave.
Yeah.
So that's why we think Water's Edge has untapped potential, because it's right off the bridge, right off the bridge, right.
Event center maybe,
Right.
where you can bring people in, you have to remember, because you're very limited on the road. And parking.
And that bridge is gonna be closing in 2 years.
That's why I said a ferry.
So, you know.
Chad, I just said a ferry. The ferry go back to the.
He's already looking into doing whether it's at Water's Edge or Farm. Those kinds of events draw.
Right.
In the winter, we don't get enough snow.
That was, I was gonna ask that,
We're on an island.
mission too. What is
We
the,
have a microclimate. We don't get snow for across the
so there's not enough winter or even icing?
We tried Winterfest.
Yeah.
The lack of involvement from the community is heartbreaking. We put so much time, money, and effort into that. We threw Halloween parties in the hammer, the first couple were huge. And then they don't, you can't buy liquor and caterers and stuff like people say, oh, I'm gonna buy at the door. I wasn't getting my ticket, this and that. So we had all these things. We tried to put down that stuff. I've been running Island Fest for 14 years now. I've been on the ride chairman in 8 years, so I know a lot about it. I'd say 500 people in my house.
Island cleanup, we said like 250 people. So I didn't mention it.
So like, are you as like,
And I was just telling them.
and you're all volunteering?
Correct, and I'm the chairman who literally does the bands and the chairs. I got first name basis on carnival owners.
What happens when you retire?
No one shadows.
Right, so this, we're hearing this succession planning, it's like the next people are putting Commerce Park, and like, that's great, maybe there's a corner of Commerce Park that could be sold off and put some new condos in. Okay, right, well, that's not my job, I've done enough for this town park, because it's younger, who has the energy to like.
I like doing it.
But no, but that's also like way outside energy. Every other committee I work in, the commission is not planned. I'll just say that is unique.
We don't have city departments it's like.
Shelby Township and Genoa Township are two townships that function like cities. I'm just saying, there are models. Using that only, you could have more people live here.
And you've got the peanut gallery and naysayers.
Right,
So we
right.
did haunted houses, and then all of a sudden, people started complaining about who was coming. Or what was
We ran
happening.
our house for 2 years at corners and people just, you couldn't get the volunteers.
Yeah.
People don't want to see more.
What do you have in the questions?
We're building a house.
Is it at the farm? Is there a
Yes.
You see, if you bring events like that, is there something with events you bring in? Might bring some people that, you know.
Again, but like it's falling on our volunteer committee and parks commission to run this thing. The funds would help. No, the money would help pay for all this.
And then while the people are here, they
There's
will
not
go
enough.
to the restaurants because they have to eat.
Very
And rather than go
strict
offshore,
other
they
township
make the space available and advertise to an organization. So let me show you, there's a particular piece of exactly. Yeah. They go all over. They go all over.
Right now,
They're going up there for,
I know, and I don't know how we pass that slide, right? Like, you can take, if you have a few people living here,
but it doesn't.
There's a lot of restrictions on this based on the former brownfield and uses that were underneath it and the FAA's ownership over top of it. There is a piece of it that was never used for any of that, and it's this. So this whole piece, basically this big rectangle here, where the woods are, could be sold off and could be for housing. It's not a brownfield, it would be relatively, so they'd still need to do transfer ownership and whatever else, but it's doable. I don't think anyone's thinking about residential on any of these other areas.
So that would be.
It would be this, so it would be
Because this is
accessed
going
off
away.
this, right,
That's
which,
closing.
if they were smart, use of this would also be residential,
Or
right?
you could even have if the building's still functional, you could do a little work and, you know,
Back in the 70s and 80s, we did.
Yeah, right.
it's gotta be
Yeah.
tailored to.
I mean, you could do something with school, but again, who's paying for the renovation, who's paying to maintain it? You know, there's a lot of considerations with what to do. This is Commerce Park. This is where we are right here,
Okay.
down here.
Okay, so that makes sense then.
Yep.
Okay,
And
I
so,
see.
yep, so the existing soccer is here. Baseball, we've heard, is going over here somewhere.
Yep,
So,
yep,
right?
yep.
Yeah,
Yep, for at least
so
the last
baseball,
20 years.
soccer, and some practice football fields.
This has
But
been
the,
going- this has
what,
been going
what
for
we
10
heard
years.
from the, so the,
10 years now.
Don't touch that.
so what we heard from the group this morning about Commerce Park, you know, a plan was done 20 years ago, right? And part of this process is to say, hey, did this plan have this vision 20 years ago? Does it still apply? And the consensus was like, yes, the plan for Commerce Park generally still applies, which is basically what you see here, continued development of some commercial tenants down here, a potential civic building here, which is what they talked about being, you know, something that would support maybe more soccer fields or support recreational uses, concessions, restrooms, something like that. Again, who pays for it, who operates it, and then generally keeping this for active rec. And then this was shown as future development. And it's still future, right?
It's here. This is the
There's a
gyro.
small building
That's
there.
the clubhouse there.
What they're thinking is it would be, you know, if it's a wish list, if it's a 20-year plan, if there was funding in place, whatever, that's the type of use they'd like to see. So generally, those uses of active rec, commercial, future development seem to resonate with people today.
They used to have a large building down there.
It did burn down years ago.
One of the things that this morning brought up, also brought up was lodging and the idea of having, you know, when people come to visit, there's no place to stay on the island. And so they talked about adding a boutique hotel or a small hotel at Water's Edge, on Home Street,
At least this
or
session.
Commerce Park. Or the Commerce Park thing, they're like, we could renovate the Highland House and make that really fantastic, also as an option. So, I don't know how you guys felt about the idea of lodging and where
We
to
used to
go.
have one on, well, it's closed now. It's
Closed,
not
I'm
sold.
Bishop.
But, I mean, everybody cries about it. I mean, they cry about people doing a VRB one. They cry. I mean,
There are a bunch of
it's gotta, unfortunately, people could say yes,
people
but
want it, but then it also needs to be supported,
Yes.
right? And if it's not supported, it can't last. I know, you know, we want new businesses to come here. We had a business owner in the previous meeting that, you know, like, they're, well, we talked a lot about and how that makes having a business very difficult with the low populations we have and the restrictions of the bridge on what can come in and if it closes and all of these things. It makes it hard to run a business. When, like someone mentioned the custard place is off island, they're like, I see for 80 years, you know? And so
well, you don't
I'm
have
saying
the,
it's incremental.
you have to have a small, I've always said I'm gonna open a subway. People
Yeah.
think you're crazy. I said, no, it's gonna be this big. You
Yeah.
can't sit inside, you just come in, order your sub here, go.
Yeah.
Have you seen the hot dog place in Wyandotte?
No.
It's on it's right where that Bell's corner used to be.
Okay.
But it's just like a
Tiny, it's just like a little
you
bit.
can't even go in.
That's what you need.
Yeah, it's just
That's
a
the only thing that would
counter.
make it, and I think that's why the likes of the Vitales.
Hello, hello. Can everybody hear me all right? Hello. Let's see here. Hey, everybody. Real quick, eyes on over here.
They'd have to be a gross ill person.
We're all good. Hello. Can everybody hear me right now? Is it working? I don't know.
Okay.
Hello. I'll try both. Hello. Oh, yay! Everybody can hear me. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for the lively discussion. Real quick, we would love to take a second to kind of debrief. Go on ahead and chat about our kind of major findings, our aha moments. Real quick. Let's see here. Let me see if this one works here. All right, then perfect. Thank you all so much for the really lively discussion. We appreciate it. We're excited to chat a little bit more. We want to first kind of have a moment to debrief because there were so many different ideas. We want to chat all about what those were, as well as be able to chat all about what kind of the path forward is from here. So with that, Kathleen, do you want to chat, or Allison, do you want to share?
Yeah. Okay, I can give a bit of a summary of what I was hearing in the different conversations. So I floated between the two different activities and talked to a number of you individually. I would say generally what I was hearing, and we're focused on Water's Edge tonight. I know we've been talking about commerce and we've been talking about other parts of the island. But for Water's Edge, what I'm hearing is we like the golf course. We'd like it to stay. We're open to associated uses if they're, sort of affiliated recreation uses. There was not, in the folks I spoke to, not a lot of support for residential or other uses that would involve eliminating part or all of the golf course. That's something we talked about in the earlier group. Some of the things, we talked about with the restaurant itself, like if there was an opportunity for, the idea of lodging of a boutique hotel came up quite a bit in the previous group, and what would be the right location for that, right? If you keep the golf course, could you at some future point redevelop the building site, build a new building where the restaurant is that has, say, 3 or 4 stories? You still have a restaurant, you have event space, and you have a small 20 to 30 room hotel. It came up as a discussion. There was also a discussion of potential hotel or lodging close to where we are now, also down, on your main street. And so this is a time for us to brainstorm, to think about ideas for the future. But I will say, in our earlier session where we were focused on Commerce Park, one of the things we kept coming back to was, as a community, we did the master plan 20 years ago. And as Kat pointed out in the presentation, a lot has changed in 20 years. And so part of this process is to go back and say, okay, here's this plan that we've developed together 20 years ago. The world has changed. Does this plan still make sense? Is it still relevant? And what we heard related to the Commerce Park area is that, yes, it was still relevant, essentially. And so what we're looking to hear, I guess, for Water's Edge are these plans, is it still relevant to keep it as it is? Or, knowing what we know about the changes in the world, in the island, in these past 20 years, are there opportunities that can present themselves to be considered on this property? So, it's a summary of what I heard.
Beautifully said, Allison. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Hats off to Allison for wonderfully summarizing an hour's worth of discussion in less than a minute. Wow. All right, then. I would just add on to that real quick. I think the other discussion that we had over on this side of the room, too, was also the need to think about long-term operations, maintenance, the idea of how are we making sure that not only are we creating really great spaces at Water's Edge for people to recreate, but also how are we going to make sure that that is financed and sustained over time. And so that's something else that we're really considering when we're having these discussions here tonight. Kathleen, any other additions?
Some of the priorities, and I just wanted to list some of the things that are coming to Water's Edge that the parks folks have told us, recreation folks, that the new restaurant operator, they're working on some cool, fun partnerships with the golf course. They think, they're going to be building or buying a tent to be able to have events there. The biggest need is the pool house, getting that rehabbed. More courts are potentially in the works, maybe removing the ice rink to have multi-use courts for pickleball, tennis, and things like that. So there's already plans in the works, which is awesome to hear. And so it's how does that then couple with, are there opportunities to have more events? I think both here and at the airport, people have mentioned how successful these events are, but it's on the shoulders of very few people. And I think the amount of effort that the commission is putting in and a very small staff is tremendous. But we don't want to burn people out. So how do we build in succession planning? And what's the long-term goal? And I want to commend everyone here tonight for explaining all of the awesome things you're doing, and how do we make sure that what you're doing lasts for the next group to come along and build upon that. And so I don't have any answers to that, but I would love everyone just to be thinking about what the role is for the township in long-term programming and partnerships with other entities, and thinking bigger picture and longer term is hard sometimes because the media is so in our face right now, and we can't do that now. But this has really been a great opportunity for us all to kind of think outside the box. So absolutely, let us know if there are other things that you haven't heard us summarize yet that you think are big. It comes down to trade-offs, right? And how we find the money to make a lot of this happen, right? But I think what was helpful in the Commerce Park conversation, we kind of closed with, well, what are the priorities? We need to, what do we value, and what are those priorities? So I just would toss that out there as we're thinking about next steps and big picture, knowing how hard the Parks and Rec Commission is working on their on all of their stuff as a bunch of volunteers. So I just want to shout out, kudos, you guys are doing a lot more than other commissions as a commission. So, like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And so what are those, continuing to partner with the school district with gyro. I would say it gyro, more Italian. No? Okay. Gyro, long I.
Gyro.
I had to say it like a gyro.
does it stand for?
Roseville Youth Recreation Association.
Okay, got it.
Gyro.
So there's the Y in there. The Y is what makes it Jai. Okay. But like those are all great institutions, but like what is their their long range planning and is probably very dependent on the people that are running it now, right? So like I don't want to say that's like an existential crisis. We're not there yet, but like I think there needs to be some like backup plans. So like if they were to disappear, what would happen, right? So like that's the like puzzle that we have to kind of shape some strategies in the master plan to help kind of guide future decision making around that kind of stuff. I don't know that we're going to be able to solve all the problems in the master plan, but if we can set a list of priorities and decision making criteria and how to, invest in things that matter to people, and if recreation is one of the things that matters the most, like we need to invest in it. So that's kind of the takeaway that I heard. So anyone want to chime in on anything? Big takeaways?
Three things when someone's looking in a community, and I've already said this, is that one is the safety of your community, two is the schools in your community, and three is the recreation in your community. What does your community offer? I want to take a shout out to my rec commission for Roseville because, as you said, they're one of the hardest working commissions as volunteers in this township. So that's what we do with great leadership and hard workers and dedication. So thank you all. And I want to thank all you for coming and doing this. And Ross, thanks for putting it together. Yeah, it's on. Thank you.
Well, I want you to be aware that one of the reasons we count on a commission and a commissioner like Chad is that there's no budget in the township budget for anything beyond, and at the risk of sounding negative, police. Our entire township budget funds the police department, public safety. We have a separate millage for fire. We have a small millage for recreation. So, if you always say follow the money, you look at our millages, which I think you very aptly said, Kathleen, look at our millages. Those are our priorities. Those are the things as a community we are willing to pay for en masse. A majority of the residents are willing to pay. So we've tried millages for other things, and they don't always pass. In the past, the township residents have supported the purchase of open space, which indicated to the board that this was something valuable to the community. We maintain a recreation millage that allows us to hire 3, maybe 4 people to run a department that then has to support itself through programming and fees and so forth. We don't have anything in the budget beyond that to give to rec. So everything that comes out of recreation comes from the blood, sweat, and tears of people like our rec commission. I'm only the liaison on that commission. I don't do any heavy lifting at all. I look at this group of individuals. They've brought life to the commission. They've brought a restaurant to Water's Edge. They've brought in the past an ice rink, which was a priority at one point and may not be any longer, a basketball court, a volleyball court. They expanded. But there's forces in the community that want to sell half of Water's Edge to build housing because they think that will bring in more revenue. So my concern on the board was always to protect Water's Edge as it is. It's only a 9-hole golf course, but it's our golf course, and it enables us to have green space, waterfront access, a pool, a marina. You as a resident may not use any or all of those services, but they're public. And that's where I'm going to end with this, is we have to really rely on the public to support its public services. The private sector on the island takes care of itself. They have their boat clubs, their yacht clubs, they have their golf clubs, they have their social clubs, etc. They take care of themselves. The business sector tries to take care of itself, but the public, we have to fight for every little thing that we get. You know, I don't live on the waterfront, and so if I want waterfront access, I have to support these programs. Open space, you know, that I can walk to a trail in the middle of the woods is huge, and that my kids could go and feel safe is huge. But I also have to know that I have to pay for that with a millage. So I think that's really what the plan is, you know, finding the reality of what the public wants out of its public services, out of its public institutions, and build it on that. And then I think you will be able to find the answers more readily. But the private sector will always come in there and say, well, we don't really need this or want this, or you're competing. At one point, you know, we had a private dance school want to shut down our public dance program because they thought it was unfair competition. That's like 20-some years ago. But both programs survived, you know, and both are successful still. So there's room for both public and private. But as far as our master plan, our focus has to be public. And so that's all I'm going to say.
Very well said, Uta. Thank you very much. Hard act to follow. Anybody else want to throw out another finding, anything that maybe surprised them or something that really inspired them or something that they really hope to see when it comes to the master plan and the future of Water's Edge? Hearing crickets. I will take that as a thank you all so much. We really do appreciate your time this evening. Just so you know, we will be continuing to chat with people all about these different topics over the course of the next week. We know that it can be hard to have people come out and be in person, so we'll be hosting a series of virtual roundtables around a series of different topics. Next Monday, we're going to kick it off with a session on economy, going through until Thursday, talking all about connectivity. So on Wednesday, if you want to chat with us a little bit more about Water's Edge, but also about the other open spaces on Grosse Ile, we would love to have you all join us. Please let me know if you aren't already registered for it. We will be sure to go ahead and send out that invite to you. But we really appreciate your time tonight. And also, another way to kind of make sure that your voice is heard, we do have a second survey that is live right now. It has an entire section that is dedicated to open spaces and recreation, building on some of the work that you all had done in your prior Parks and Rec master plan, and looking at a couple of other questions about how all of your open spaces and waterfront access relates to other things on the island as well. So be sure to go on ahead and give that one a look. But thank you all so much and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Do you want to know where the bars are that are open right now?